Lesson 40. The stomach. As food passes through the cardiac sphincter, it enters into the muscular J-shaped organ called the stomach. The stomach is found below the sternum of your chest, in the area called the epigastric region of the abdomen. Food arriving here will be both mechanically and chemically digested before moving on to the intestines. The stomach can act as a reserve, where food sits for up to 8 hours, while a person that is undernourished and with an empty stomach can have food leave the stomach within half an hour. The stomach is composed of 3 layers of muscle, which makes it a mashing machine. In fact, the stomach interior is ridged with structures called rugae to further increase friction. The stomach will mechanically mix and churn the contents of the stomach, now called acid chyme. It will break up large clumps of food into smaller ones, increasing its surface area for chemical digestion. The stomach can hold up to 4 liters of food when full, but when empty can shrink up to about 50 milliliters in volume by creating larger rugae folds. In addition to mechanical digestion, a fair amount of chemical digestion occurs too. This is where covalent chemical bonds are broken enzymatically using the process of hydrolysis. The stomach's inner lining is made up of special mucus cells called goblet cells that produce alkaline mucus. Holes dot the surface, which are little cavities called gastric pits. In these gastric pits are in turn lined with special cells, all producing different digestive enzymes, collectively called the gastric juices. Here we see a cross-section of those gastric pits. When the stomach stretches with food, protein arises at the stomach, the acid levels rise in the stomach, or just smelling food cooking will stimulate the stomach cells called G cells to release the hormone gastrin into the bloodstream. It's an endocrine function. This in turn will stimulate parietal cells to produce more hydrochloric acid, so that the stomach's pH is between 1.5 and 3.5. Under such acidic conditions, it is important that the stomach is lined with alkaline mucus from the goblet cells to inhibit ulceration of the stomach wall, as well as reducing friction as the stomach churns. The acid in the stomach breaks down fibrous material, denatures proteins exposing their covalent bonds, kills bacteria, and will stimulate the stomach to churn and mix the acid chyme. Prior to food arriving in the stomach, an enzyme precursor, or proenzyme, called pepsinogen would have been produced in large quantities by chief cells and will be waiting in the stomach. Pepsinogen is activated into a full-functioning protease by increasing acid levels of the stomach due to the gastrin release. Much of the chemical digestion of protein occurs here in the stomach by pepsin. Although the stomach's main role is mechanical digestion of all nutrients, and specifically chemical digestion of proteins, chief cells do produce gastric lipase to begin the chemical digestion of fats as well. Acid levels are controlled by negative feedback of low pH, which results in reduced gastrin release, which in turn will restrict hydrochloric acid production, therefore increasing pH.